So the Goldilocks scenario, still positive growth. Unemployment stays, let's say, stays below 4.5 or below. Inflation, falls like a feather to 2%. Not
Yep.
nothing quick, but it's lower in December than January, kind of thing.
Yep. Yep.
And in that scenario, kind of closing on this, do you think the Fed cuts? Because one thing will happen, right? If we go from an inflation rate of 3 to 2, just generically speaking,
Hmm.
and they don't cut, they become more restrictive, as you know,
Correct.
right? So what do you think? Do you think they cut in a Goldilocks scenario? Do you think they have to?
I do think they likely cut later on in the year next year if we hit that Goldilocks scenario. If they can see a clear trend of things moving in that 2% GDP, I'm sorry, 2% inflationary camp, I do think they cut to get things less restrictive. Because again, if you have interest rates at 5.25 and inflation gets to 2.5, I'll call it 2.25 because my brain does math easier there. That's 3% real interest rates. And
Right.
that is restrictive territory because right now
Yeah,
we're
I
in,
agree.
we're they're calling us restrictive where we're at this point, and we're nowhere near that number.
Yeah, so I guess at that point, I mean, you could theoretically see four cuts. You could, in theory.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All
That
right.
yeah. For the record, I don't see that.
No, I
But
know. Yeah. I'm
but for the
we're
record, if you do get that massive disinflationary pressure, then yes, you could see interest rate cuts. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination you can get 5, which is getting priced into the market right now. But with that Goldilocks scenario backdrop, I don't think 5 plays out. But you could get 1 or 2, potentially 3, maybe. But that's still pretty darn optimistic.
Yeah, so let's call it 2 between friends in the Goldilocks scenario.
Sure, sure.
What do you want to do next? You a glass half full or you a glass half empty kind of person? What do you want to do? Recession or reinflation?
Which one of those is full and which one's empty?
I don't know. They're like probably neither are good. It
let's
depends
go.
if you
Let's
own
go
assets.
recession.
If
Yeah,
you own
let's go.
assets, one's better.
Well,
So,
actually, let me touch on one thing on that Goldilocks scenario. As you think about things from an investor standpoint, that's probably the best scenario for stocks, right? Stocks probably play out best in that scenario. Bonds do okay because, again, if you don't have this massive run up in interest rates like we've had over the past couple of years, and interest rates go sideways, if not lower, you're starting out at a yield on bonds right now north of 5% in investment grade. And you could see, some upward movement in that as well as interest rates continue to leak downwards.
yeah, from where I sit, the Goldilocks scenario, the soft landing, whatever you want to call it, it's the sideways market that I'm hoping for. Right.
Yep.
I think we need time to pay for our sins of 2020 and 2021. And I think that buys us time to kind of just churn through the crap because there's a lot of pain coming. There's a lot of assets, a lot of debt that's been put in place that's just toxic. I think Goldilocks buys us the time to eat that up. So I would agree with that. So we're doing recession next.
Let's do recession next. Yeah.